This program is intended to assist in training the operator of the Hobart 1712 RE slicer and is a supplement to the instruction manual. The instruction manual provided with your machine has the ML number ML104031 on the cover. Be sure the ML number agrees with the number stamped on the data plate on the machine. For more information, always refer to the instruction manual. Replacement manuals can be obtained from your local Hobart office. Warning: this machine is provided with a 3-prong grounding plug. The outlet to which this plug is connected must be properly grounded. If the receptacle is not the proper grounding type, contact an electrician. Safety devices incorporated in this slicer must be in their correct operating positions any time the slicer is in use. Unplug the machine power cord and turn the index knob fully clockwise before cleaning the slicer. The slicer knife is very sharp. Exercise extreme caution when working near the knife. Before beginning any maintenance procedure, unplug the machine power cord. In the next few minutes, you'll learn Model 1712RE operation procedures, including manual and automatic slicing, cleaning procedures, and maintenance procedures, including knife sharpening and lubrication. If you are using a 1712RE slicer, first pull out and rotate the plunger knob so that the pin rests on the plunger housing. Then lift the meat grip to its raised position and place the product on the carriage tray. Next, adjust the fence by loosening the thumb screw and sliding it so that it's close to the product but not pushing against it, and tighten the thumb screw. Swing the meat grip around and firmly press the prongs into the product. The prongs should be set in the middle of the product and readjusted occasionally to maintain even pressure during automatic slicing. Always turn off the slicer before readjusting the meat grip. Next, adjust the index knob to set the slice thickness. Remember, the numbers on the index knob do not indicate actual measurements, but may be used to duplicate slice thickness. For automatic slicing, the actuating block should be set to a 1, 2, 3, or 4 feed screw rate. Setting 4 is the fastest feed screw rate. Number 1 is the slowest. Turn the adjusting screw until the setting matches the index knob. Recheck the index knob to see that it matches the feed screw rate. If the texture of the product causes inconsistent slices, advance the actuating block beyond the initial setting to increase feed pressure. Now turn the plunger knob to engage the meat grip with the feed screw. Snug the product against the gauge plate by turning the feed screw knob. Pull the carriage to the end of its travel and engage the driving unit by lifting the actuating lever to its locked position. With the speed selector knob set in, pull the switch knob and gently push the carriage to begin automatic slicing. Always start automatic slicing in low speed. To change to high speed, pull the speed selector knob out and rest the notch on the shifter sleeve. Release the speed selector to shift back to low speed. To stop automatic slicing, push the locking clip when the carriage is nearing the operator end of its travel. To release the feed screw, pull out the plunger knob and lift the meat grip. Always leave the driving unit in low speed when the slicer is not operating automatically. When the slicing operation is complete, or you need to switch product, it is recommended that you partially clean and sanitize the slicer to prevent cross-contamination. First, unplug the slicer. Then, using hot water and a mild detergent, carefully wipe the top knife cover, carriage, knife edge, gauge plate, and discharge area. Finally, spray sanitizer on the areas, wipe, and rinse thoroughly. Your slicer must be thoroughly cleaned and sanitized after each day's operation, or any time it will not be used for an extended period of time. Before beginning any cleaning procedures, always unplug the machine power cord and turn the index knob fully clockwise to close the gauge plate. To begin cleaning, remove the fence by unscrewing the thumb screw and sliding it from the carriage tray. Next, remove the carriage by unscrewing the thumb screw and lifting it from the carriage support. Now, remove the deflector by grasping it with both hands and pulling out away from the machine. Remove the top knife cover by rotating the lever up and lifting it away from the slicer. The carriage tray, deflector, fence, and top knife cover may all be submerged in a hot water solution for cleaning. Do not wash any slicer components in a dishwasher. Warning, the slicer knife is very sharp. Exercise extreme caution when working near the knife. Now clean the ring guard. To clean the ring guard, submerge a thin cloth in the detergent and hot water solution. Insert the cloth at the bottom part of the ring guard where it meets the gauge plate. Using both hands, position the cloth so that you are able to grasp it with your left hand from underneath the gauge plate. Carefully work the cloth between the knife and ring guard. Once the cloth is in place, use your right hand to pull the cloth 360 degrees around the ring guard in a counterclockwise direction. Pull the cloth counterclockwise until you reach the point where you started. Repeat this procedure if necessary. When finished, remove the cloth. Next, carefully wash the top side of the knife, wiping outward from the center. Once the top side is cleaned, wipe the underside, also wiping outward from the center. Rinse both sides of the knife using the same procedure as you did while washing. In addition to cleaning, it is advisable to coat the knife with a USDA-approved odorless, tasteless oil. Once the knife has been coated, replace the top knife cover as shown earlier. Now, remove the sharpener by lifting it up and sliding the pins from the notches. If necessary, wipe down the sharpener. In addition, the sharpener may be submerged underwater for cleaning. However, you must allow the stones to dry completely before attempting to use the sharpener. When finished, replace the sharpener by inserting the pins into the notches and sliding it up until it reaches its resting position. Next, wipe down all machine surfaces with the soap solution and clean cloth. Rinse the slicer with another clean cloth and fresh water. Finally, replace the deflector, carriage tray, and fence. Once the cleaning is complete, you must sanitize the slicer. Using a recommended sanitizing solution, diluted to manufacturer's guidelines, sanitize the slicer. Carefully spray the solution on all exposed areas of the slicer, including the top knife cover, gauge plate, deflector, discharge area, and base. Thoroughly rinse the slicer when sanitizing is complete. The Hobart cast stainless steel knife requires periodic sharpening, and you can determine when to sharpen the knife. Sharpen the knife when you get ragged or uneven cuts, or excessive tailings or scraps. It's important not to sharpen the knife more often than necessary. Prolonged or too frequent sharpening results in unnecessary knife wear. Before beginning any sharpening procedure, make sure the index knob is turned fully clockwise to close the gauge plate. Loosen the carriage tray thumb screw and carefully remove the carriage tray. Then, remove the top knife cover. Make sure the knife is clean. Sharpening a dirty knife destroys the stones. Next, remove the deflector from the knife support. Raise the sharpener and position it above the knife. When the sharpener is positioned correctly, the upper guide pins rest in the front slots. Pull the switch knob to start the slicer. To sharpen the knife, push the grind button, marked with a number 1, for 20 to 30 seconds. Complete the knife sharpening by pressing the truing button, marked with a number 2. Hold for approximately 2 to 3 seconds. When you are done sharpening, turn off the slicer, unplug the machine power cord, and return the sharpener to its stored position. Wipe the slicer and knife with a clean, damp cloth to remove any grinding particles. Finally, replace the top knife cover and deflector. In order to keep your slicer operating at its best, it is necessary to perform some routine lubrication to the unit. A container of the proper lubricant was supplied with your slicer. Additional quantities are available from your local Hobart office. This container is used to fill the carriage slide rod reservoir. The slide rod reservoir is located here. Simply place the container tip into the reservoir and squeeze to fill. Poly-FM number 0, or an equivalent tasteless lubricant, should be used to lubricate the gauge plate slide rods if indexing becomes stiff. Carefully turn the gauge plate counterclockwise to fully open the gauge plate. Take caution when performing this procedure. The knife is exposed. Then lubricate the slide rods by applying a generous supply of Poly-FM number 0 to each. Turn the index knob fully clockwise to close the gauge plate. If desired, the model 1712RE can be used as a standard slicer in the manual or automatic mode without engaging the feed screw. Remember, always refer to your instruction manual for information regarding operation of your Hobart slicer. This concludes the operator training for the Hobart 1712RE slicer.